So I think we've got two parts of the business, which I think people should be pretty clear on now. We've got the gaming adjacent cloud. We've got the AI adjacent cloud.
Right.
Gaming cloud, we're continuing to push forward. We bring on newer and better and more exciting titles all the time. We do partner with games on like a B2B in a B2B format. So for example, there's no Aethir gaming platform you can kind of access and play directly through us. We unlock our resources for gaming companies to go and then deliver that content through their own platforms. So that's just something that I know a lot of people go, oh, where can I play these games that Aethir is hosting? We don't have a platform ourselves. There's no B2C exposure. But a lot of the games that you'll access through other platforms out there are powered by Aethir's infrastructure. We've got some cool stuff happening soon with some big AAA games that have just come out in the Web3 space. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to name them, but if you think about the biggest AAA game that just came out in Web3 over the last maybe month, you can probably guess which one it is. So that's going to be very, very cool.
That game is using Aethir compute.
That game will use some Aethir compute, yeah.
Maybe I'll flash some titles, some game titles.
Guess which one.
Which one?
Yeah, yeah. So that's really cool. I'm always excited to partner with great kind of gaming builders. And then we've got the AI compute side, right, which is really split into two verticals, right? The training side, right? This is where large language models go and they're trained and their capability increases over time. And then you've got the inferencing compute, which is the AI application side, the agents. Okay, you've trained your model. Now it needs to go and do something. How do you get it into a useful form? And both of those sides, both the gaming and the AI side, we're scaling up rapidly at the moment. I think we take a very real business approach to growth in the space. Revenue, contracts, utilization rate of our infrastructure, growing the supply in our network. And I think the big focus for us is just to continue steadily growing as our network scales in what it can offer.
Is there enough compute to service on the AI side, not an inference, even though that is a tremendous amount of compute? Probably more compute is needed for the training side. Do you have enough compute to serve anyone at this point, or what are the limitations for your capacity now? And how do you plan on improving the capacity for Aethir so that it can service those in the future?
Yeah, good question. Surprisingly, we have more compute looking to join the network than we can actually accept. Right?
Why can you not accept it?
So when you look at a network, right, of generally of any form of resource, but particularly anything that's kind of capacity focused, right? You should care a lot about your utilization rate, how much of your equipment is actively being used, because generally with incentivized ecosystems, which is pretty much every ecosystem in crypto, there'll be some form of reward for idle participation, right? So if you, for example, open the floodgates of your network and you just let every GPU out there come in, you're paying for them to sit there and do nothing, right? So you're effectively draining your token reserves for no real added benefit. It's much better to have a supply-led business, right? You never want to ideally be turning away business, right? But it is a reality every now and then. You never really want to be turning away business, but at the same time, you want your business to be kind of in touch with supply, right? Supply-led, but still business in touch. And that's a fine sort of balance to keep, right? because you need to kind of keep your sales funnel in touch with your supply chain. But it's kind of a necessary road to walk when you're building a decentralized or permissionless network. Because if you do just open the floodgates, bad actors will just come in, flood your network with infrastructure, drain your token, and then walk away.
So basically, people can glean from the amount of supply that you have how much demand there is because you're always going to try to stay at least around a half step ahead on the supply side of the demand.
Yeah, yeah. We like to sit anywhere from 70 to 80%, keep a 70 to 80% utilization rate for our infrastructure as best we can. So yeah, generally as we fill up with contracts, right, we'll start adding more supply in.
Is that the same sort of utilization rate that other major players are looking forward to?
I
Like, is
think
that the standard, or is that something that Aether has now in its early stage?
that's a pretty incredible utilization rate, to be honest. If you've got a bunch of MacBooks connected to your network, it's very unlikely that you're able to find regular use cases for that compute. So generally, DPINs, at least in the compute space, sit closer to a 20% utilization rate.
Other DPINs do. What about other non-DPINs, like the centralized ones with the data center?
To be honest, they don't necessarily publicly release these numbers, but I would say that for them, their utilization rate would be probably a lot lower because they do not want to be turning away big contracts.
Yeah. And I guess that also explains why Google is making its own, I mean, a whole suite of AI tools because
Yeah,
they have so much compute to use. It's probably just sitting there. Their team probably said, we need to use this stuff because it's costing us billions of dollars. Then they go and make Gemini and all those other tool sets, right?
100%. I mean, one way I do have some data on data center GPU utilization, which is, I guess, a little bit of a proxy for equipment that you might find in the warehouses of someone like Google. And enterprise GPU utilization was across the US in data centers sitting between 15 to 18% utilized.
It really raises the question of why isn't it being used? Why do they have so much? If it's just going to sit there, it's like having a gold mine of unmined gold and you're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is why Aether exists. It's the same idea as Airbnb, right? You've got this vast resource of available rooms sitting in people's homes, but the average person doesn't have the tools to advertise that room to people outside of their network.